videos. This is a trigonometry video dealing with RATs, or right angle triangles, and today we're looking at solving for a missing angle in a right angle triangle. Now there's previous videos in this series including introducing you to sine, cos and tan in a right angle triangle, solving for a missing side in a right angle triangle, and then those kind of nastier problems where you're looking for a missing side but then the missing side ends up on the bottom of the fraction or the division that you're doing. Okay, so those are other videos you might like to look at. Today we're looking at solving for a missing angle in a RAT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through these examples. I suggest that as soon as you figure you've got the idea, you pause the video, you try and finish the question or attempt the next question yourself, and then compare your answer with how I get on. Okay, so here we have an example. It's a right angle triangle. That's the right angle there. We're trying to find P. So if you remember from the other videos, what I do is I write down what I'm trying to find, which is in this case an angle which is P, and I'm writing down what I have. Now at present I haven't got any sides labeled. I'm going to do that first. The side opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse, the side opposite the angle is always the opposite, and the side next to the right angle is the adjacent. So H, O and A. So what do I have? I have a side which is the hypotenuse, which is 13, and I have a side which is the adjacent, which is 5. So looking at SOHCAHTOA, what has A and H is this one, CAH, so it's cos. So cos is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So I can say that cos of P will be the adjacent, which is 5, over the hypotenuse, which is 13. Now how do I get the angle from that? So how do I get the angle from that? I'm going to, well, some people like to just do the decimal first. So 5 divided by 13 is 0.3846. Other people like to just go straight to it. So I'll show you both ways. There's the cos first of all. If the cos of the angle is that number, then the angle itself I found, so angle P I find by doing cos inverse 0.3846 or cos inverse 5 over 13. So let's do that. Shift cos point, here we are, it's hard to see. Shift cos 0.3, so how did I do that? Shift cos 0.3846 equals 67. P is equal to 67.38 degrees. Okay, or shift cos, I would do it all in one go, 5 over 13 equals, again the same answer, 67.38 degrees. Okay, now if I wanted to put that in degrees, minutes, seconds, which we haven't talked about really yet, but is the standard way of expressing an angle, that would be 67 degrees 22 minutes. 67 degrees 22 minutes. It'd actually be 23 minutes, but I'll leave it as 22 for now. Okay. Okay, so what we found out is the angle P, 67.22 degrees, 67.38 degrees is here. It has a hypotenuse of 13 and an adjacent of 5 in a right angle triangle. Okay, pause the video if you want and try this yourself first and then restart the video. So here I have a triangle, right angle triangle. There's my right angle. I'm trying to find Q. So I'm trying to find the angle which is Q. What do? I label my sides. So this is my hypotenuse, this is my opposite, and this must be my adjacent. So what do I have? I have a side which is the hypotenuse, which is 25, and I have a side which is the opposite, which is 10. So what do I have? SOHCAHTOA. I've got opposite and hypotenuse, so that's going to be sine. So I know that sine of Q is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of Q is equal to 10 over 25. So I can either do shift sine 10 over 25, which equals, so shift, oh dear, turn it back on, shift sine 10 over 25 equals 23.58 degrees, or I can find the sine. I could find out what 10 over 25 is. 10 over 25, 10 divided by 25 equals 0.4, and then do shift sine 0.4. Shift sine 0.4, and that again equals that Q equals 23.58 degrees. Hopefully you got that right. Okay, try the next one yourself if you haven't tried one yourself. Here it is. Okay, so here it is. Here's the triangle. Got a right angle, an angle that you're looking for in two sides. So pause the video, try it, and then come back. Okay, so here we go. Let's write down. We're trying to find T, which is an angle. We have, well, let's label our sides. This is the hypotenuse, opposite the right angle. This is opposite, because it's opposite the angle, and this is the adjacent. So we have the opposite, which is 24, which is a side. We have the adjacent, which is 10, which is a side, and we know SOHCAHTOA. So which one has O and A? It is TOA. So we know that tan of angle T is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So tan of T is equal to the opposite, which is 24 over 10, which equals 2.4. So tan of T equals 2.4. So T, angle T is equal to shift tan 2.4, or as we write it in maths language, tan inverse 2.4. So let's do that. Shift tan 2.4 equals 67.38 degrees. Okay, 67.38 degrees. So we found that angle T is equal to 67.38 degrees. And here's one last one. It's a bit more complicated because there's a couple of different things. Here we have to find X and A. So pause if you want to try it. Pause the video and try it yourself first. Okay, so X and A. Now looking at A, the only information I have about this triangle is that it's got a right angle and a side, which is the hypotenuse, which is 20. I don't have information about this side or any other angle. So I think I'm going to have to try and work on X first. So I'm going to do that first. So find side X. Now X, I could use this triangle if I had more information in it, but I don't. So I'm going to have to use this triangle. So I'm going to just redraw that. This is X, this is 8, this is 60. How do I know that's a right angle? I know that's a right angle because that's a right angle. They're both, like if this is 180 degrees and this is a right angle, this must be a right angle. Okay, so what do I have? I've got to find side X. Now what is side X? Here side X is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse and this is the adjacent. This is the hypotenuse is opposite the right angle. The X, this missing side here, side X is the opposite, and this side 8 is next to the angle or adjacent to the angle, so it's the adjacent. What do I have? I have a side 8, which is the adjacent. Side X I'm looking for is the opposite, and I have an angle which is 60 degrees. So opposite and adjacent, SOHCAHTOA. Opposite, no, not that one. Opposite and adjacent is this one. So tan of 60 is the opposite over the adjacent, which equals, so tan of 60 equals X over 8. Now remember we said you could just find tan 60 straight away if you like. Tan 60 equals 1.732 is equal to X over 8. I'm going to multiply both sides by 8. So 8 times 1.732 equals 13.856 is equal to X, or 13.9 is equal to X. Do you know what? I'll leave it as 13.9. So now we found X, and now we have to find A. So up from here to find A. A is in this right hand triangle, so I'm going to redraw A 20. I now know that X, which was here, is 13.9, and I've got to find A. So I'm trying to find angle A. I've got to label my sides. So what do I have? I have the hypotenuse, and with angle A there, I have this is the opposite and this is the adjacent. So I have the hypotenuse, which is 20, which is a side, and I have the opposite, which is 13.9, which is a side. Sa ka toa. Now, don't be distracted by this A. This is the angle A, not a side. So it's these two I'm looking at, hypotenuse and opposite. So it's going to be sine. So sine of angle A is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So sine A is equal to 13.9 over 20. So A is going to be angle A is going to be shift sine 13.9 divided by 20. So let's do that. Shift sine 13.9 divided by 20 equals 44 degrees, 44.027, so 0.3 degrees. So angle A is equal to 44.03 degrees. To the nearest degree, that would be 43 degrees. Okay, I hope that's useful. Bye.